All right, today it's Christmas Day, and I figured to talk about gratitude, which is probably like one of the most important things when, especially for people like in recovery, because at least in my experience, is like switching over from like the victim mentality hood when I was drinking, and it was always everyone else's fault for this, that, or whatever would come up. It was always someone else's problem and not mine, and you gotta switch that over into yeah, the growth mindset, the Norse mentality, podcast I'm into, which I did a video on previously. Getting out of that victim mindhood and out of the pity party and into like a growth mindset. You tend to become more grateful of things that are around you and things that you have and people in your life and everything, and experiences as well. So for instance, while I spent like a good 2.5 years in AA, and like I did a whole video on why I left it, and I can look back and with the phrase hindsight is 2020, people tend to have a negative connotation on that. It's one of those things where well, if I had known this back then, and this would be different. It's it gets into like those like what if scenarios, but well, yes, I have mentioned that it would have been a lot different if I had come across things like smart recovery a lot sooner. What I can say is even though spending 2.5 years in AA and having come across smart recovery during that time, I can look back and say okay, well, having gone through this, I can be grateful for it. So that way, I can give my experiences and use that hindsight of a 2020 vision and be able to look back and well, because this happened, I can now say and articulate thoughts and emotions and views better. So that way, I can sit there and instead of just sitting there AA's trash and it's total shit and it's totally worthless. I can actually sit here and okay, this is where I'm coming from. This is why I say things like smart recovery are better. And now is that necessarily mean it's for everyone? No, nothing. Stuff one way or another isn't always for everyone. We all have to find our own path, but with having the experience, being grateful for it, I can now, like I said, be able to convey thoughts, expressions, and articulate the stuff, my standpoint on why I view smart recovery as a better approach to recovery, at least in the initial stages. And like mentioned before in other videos, or with going into my video on why I left AA, I can say uh, instead of having religion jammed down your throat like it's in AA, let's use the things like smart recovery first, so we can you work on the 4 points and things like the getting control of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and working towards living a balanced life. Get kind of in some of like pagan circles and witchcraft circles, they say put the mundane before the magical. Like in a sense, you put your everyday mundane existence, like your physical existence, okay, you need to get a roof over your head, you need to get maybe a job to be able to do that, food in your fridge, and uh, kind of sort out the physical your physical surroundings, so that way you can then for move on towards working on that if you do want to follow a religious path, or a spiritual path, or for those who are atheists and agnostic, trying to find a philosophy that kind of be oh, hey, this actually sounds pretty good. You could get into Marcus Aurelius Stoicism, probably pronouncing that wrong, but his works and everything, to kind of have a philosophy, to have that positive outlook on life. So with gratitude, that helps you build that positive outlook on life. So a good way to start with gratitude is just do a list, like how I went over my weekly routine and everything. What you could do is write in the beginning of the morning, like uh like with stuff I usually do and everything. Like what you could also do is like write down like a gratitude list, write 5, 6, 7 things that like you're grateful for, and it doesn't have to necessarily be like earth shattering. It could be just something simple as okay, I've got a roof over my head, I've got food in my fridge, I've got like electricity and running water, and like I've got a job to be able to pay for, be able to support myself with that, and it's just simple things like that. So when and that also leads to you looking at people the multimillionaires and billionaires, instead of being jealous and envious of all this material wealth they have, you can look at what you have and be like, oh hey, look, I'm actually in a pretty good position too. Well, yeah, now I may not necessarily be like in as great a position as them, and yes, income inequality has and is an issue, and that's like a whole other debate, and that needs to be constantly fixed and everything. But when it comes to gratitude, like you can sit there and look at your situation and realize that oh hey, I actually don't have it so bad, because like I said, like the examples I gave, okay, I've got a roof over my head, I've got food in my fridge. You can also be with people you surround yourself with, again in the seven pillars video with the community, you can be thankful for the people that you can go to and be like, oh hey, look, I have an issue, you know, with okay, I'm having issues with my finances. You can go to people and ask questions and ask for help and everything, and or you might have issues, you might be someone who has depression, and you need to see to the point where you need to see a therapist, and even with I said, doing all the seven pillars, you might be able to still need medication and everything, but being able to be grateful for having people to go to help with any mental health issues and stuff along that and everything. So with having a mindset of gratitude, it helps get you away from that victim mentality where you're constantly blaming everyone, everything, and everywhere else, because it's all their fault, it's not my fault. So and by taking responsibility too, of your actions, and with and your thoughts and behaviors, and building up yourself, so that way you can shift that mindset into being into a growth mindset, so you can be grateful for the things you have. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you just oh, I've got everything I want and everything I need, so I'm good to go. So it's also good to have goals, so to work towards. So you could with my Athlete Next video, you could be with me, working in the programs and work towards the end of it and be grateful, oh hey, look, I just finished this lifting program. I'm grateful for the for being able to go through it, get more experience, so that way I can now turn the tables and be able to switch and give my experience to other people, so I can be grateful for the knowledge and wisdom that I got. And I'm kind of recovering from sinus congestion the last couple weeks, and it's pretty much that time of year where everyone gets a cold, it seems. So but anyway, even with getting this cold and everything, I can be grateful that have modern medicine, that I can go in and get me some Vicks vapor rub and cough drops, and or it's not necessary to the point where I need medication or whatever, but I can be grateful to have the stuff to be over the counter stuff, where I can be able to get a medicine, some medicine, to be able to treat that. Whereas if you're looking at 2,000 years ago, when we didn't necessarily have modern medicine, even maybe 150, 200 years ago, we can be grateful for that, so that way we can lead healthier lives. So it's just a matter of having like I said, a list you can do in the morning of a few things that you're grateful for, and it will help get you out of that victim mindset and into like a mode of recovery and a growth mindset, and help you get out of so many of us in recovering from addictions, that we seem to be in dire straits and a desperate situation. So it helps build up like yourself, so that way you can be more uh, mindful of what you actually have and what you have to offer to the rest of the world, so like you can be grateful for what you have, but still be able to okay, well, like I said, work towards your goals and everything. So and I'm doing this on Christmas, which is like a major holiday, and being in North America, it's dark half the year, so and with being at winter and everything, I'm grateful for this time of year, even though the weather may be shit and everything. Last weekend we got a storm, or I lost power, but I'm grateful for this time of year where I can spend time with that introspection, and be able to look back on the calendar year that just passed, and kind of okay, this is how my year went, and I can also use it as introspection on the upcoming year, and be like, okay, this is what I want to do for the next year. So and it's just not Christmas that's like a holiday in this time frame. It's also, you also got like Kwanzaa, Saturnalia, you got Yule, you got Hanukkah. So you got all these major like holidays around this time. And if you look back at like history, and getting into the history of the holidays and everything, they tend to be more of festivals, and a gathering together of people, and can also like I do be like an introspection time. So this would be like a great time to start a gratitude practice, in a sense, doing like a list every morning, or being able to at night, or just going through your day and noticing things. You could be like an experience, okay, I'm grateful for this negative experience, even though uh, you may be working with like a coworker who's a total shithead, and who's like a total loses their temper like on the snap of a finger. But you can be grateful for the experience of dealing with that person. So okay, well, I don't want to be like that. So that's how you take like a negative situation and be grateful for that. So you can learn from it, and be like, well, that used to be for me, that used to be me when I was drinking and everything. But now I can look back okay, well, now that it's been several years or so since I've quit drinking, I'd be grateful when I do come across those people. It's okay, this is not what I want to be like. So I can be grateful for the experience, and again, try and improve myself, so I can in turn lift up the people that are around me as well. So the whole idea of gratitude is being able to help switch your mindset and everything. So until next week.